So it seems it's all the rage about the coronavirus recently. We're even having in house discussions about how to behave or the things you need to do in order to keep a corona free environment. So a lot of people don't realize there are people living with other people who who are worried that each person in a household is going to give the other person corona. And so it's more than just grocery shopping, being inhibited to spending on what you want and get the basic minimum spend. It's more than that kind of change that's been happening. It's also like affecting families. I think it could end up affecting a person's mindset against the other person. Um, at the moment, our household do's and don'ts are: do you make your own meal? We're not having meals together. We're cooking our own meals separately. And they, one of the do's was to make sure that the bathroom is puddle free. So there's going to be a mop in there to mop up any spills so that no bacterias or viruses can inhabit the puddle. Another do is, if you are feeling unwell, do not wander through the house. Only stay inside your room. That goes for if there are guests and you're feeling unwell as well. And sanitize, wash your hands if you cough or sneeze. And basic things like that. So that's the new house rules. That's come as a direct result from this corona thing that's bursting out. Stores are like struggling with supplies because everything's kept keeping to the bare minimum. You go inside a grocery store now, it's not stocked to the brim. Every shelf is like half empty. It's like affecting every aisle. Breads are mostly gone. And tissues, toilet paper are gone. Even like things like Panadols, medical supplies, aloe pads, whatever, female sanitizer. There's hardly any of the cheap ones. You've only got those expensive ones on the shelf. And I didn't check the freezers, but you go through a store and you see that heaps of things are just not there. The rices are running out, and you're only supposed to buy like minimum spend every week for you or your family, and just things like that. It's really weird. And soon there's going to be a ban on traveling through states. So each state's going to be separated by a travel ban. And, I've got relatives who want to come up here to go on a boat for their birthday. And it was going to be a special event. And now it's probably going to have to be put on hold or stopped. But at least I didn't buy the tickets. I know people who have bought overseas trips to overseas, and they've been cancelled because of bans from other countries. Well, even our country is going to have a ban, so, and they've spent like 15-20 grand on, their bookings for their trips. There's people who have been wanting to go to Disneyland for like 5-10 years, and they finally made a trip this year, made plans to go. And Disneyland isn't letting people see their park anymore to go there. So, they've been notified that their trips are not to be fulfilled, that they've been cancelled, and they're not going to be refunded at all. So, yes, it's definitely like affecting people in different ways. Yeah, so our pretty common household is going to be, put under the rule book. So that I was actually surprised it wasn't a conversation like, I want to live by myself now that there's a coronavirus around. Can you leave? So this is my house. It's not my house. So I would have been perplexed if that was going to be the topic of conversation. But tonight it was just house rules. Maybe tomorrow But wouldn't that be weird? Like people being chucked out of homes just because, whoever owns a home is scared of getting corona or something. So I would consider that like a really pretty freaky concept. Especially being chucked out when, there's a pandemic and you shouldn't be wandering around, looking for, new homes. I think that would freak me out because it's like, everyone being put under a plague and you being told go outside, and take a long walk and don't come back, it's like, it's not just like, oh, it's pretty freaky that there's some sort of lethal virus around. It's like, okay, now that there's a lethal virus around, I have to go wandering by myself, and you face the whole ordeal of being freaked out by something lethal, like a lethal virus, by yourself. And I'd be like, that's a really mean thing to do to anyone, to go, oh, there's a lethal virus, oh, get out, and you're like, oh, there's a lethal virus, oh, I've been kicked out, it's like pretty freaky that you would be kicked out at that time and that you would have to face whatever you face alone, I think it could be kind of freaky. But yeah, it's now like starting to settle. Like the people who are like ignoring things like corona are like thinking, oh wow, it's a real thing, it's really affecting the stores now. We thought it was just gonna be like a small country thing and that people on the media were like making some report that wouldn't affect the whole country. You're now realizing it's definitely like a huge thing and it is going to be affecting the whole country until you walk outside and you have to face it, because like I think until that time, like everyone's going, oh yeah, look at that thing on the news. It's kind of like overblown, overdone. There's not even anything lethal in the air or anything. Like you're thinking like that. Like they're like over exaggerating in the reportings or something, or the reportings are like in a place further away from you, like in a country suburb or something. And you're like going, oh yeah, as if anyone's like doing that. But now that they are, because it's been brought to your area, it's like settling down that, wow, this is going to be like a huge thing, and which is kind of going to be like scary and put people in distress and make people want to not be near each other and stuff. So you just realizing it's going to be more like that, like in your face, until you notice it and react to it, and it's like before you could ignore it, but now it's starting to be like, oh, next there'll be sirens, blaring in the air somewhere, to warn people that there's something. But it could like be quite big actually, like now that it's kind of settling down, but I don't know how far it's gonna go, but it's like kind of getting towards a point where it's like in your face. And you have to notice the restrictions and the warnings and how businesses react and stuff. And I was even told there's a cafe where people are waiting and cooking and serving with masks on their faces. And on their sign outside the cafe, it's saying, "We are corona free." And you're like going, wow, would you eat at a cafe with people wearing masks? Shouldn't they be like not even cooking or something? So it's kind of weird that way. It's like how it's swelling, like how the issue is fruiting in front of you. So I guess there's more of it to come.